Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christopher. I have HSP2 down here. This is the exact step-by-step process to overcome a herpes diagnosis. Let's begin. Step number one is actually get properly diagnosed. So if you're sitting here right now and you don't actually have herpes, click off the video or watch it. It's going to help me with the retention. Secondly, if you have suspicious symptoms, bumps, cuts, blisters, lesions, don't DM me. Go straight to the doctor. I can't diagnose you. They probably can't as well, but you can do your best and try because they're a doctor. Secondly, if you have nowhere to go, sexual health clinic, a walk-in clinic, the emergency room, I have no idea. I went to a walk-in clinic, said, can I be diagnosed? I think I have herpes. Can we check? They did a swab test. This is what you also have to do is ask for a swab test. PCR is best. Swab culture is also fine too. Ideally, you want to opt for a swab test if you have suspicious symptoms. They're probably going to be like, oh, nothing to swab. Swab it anyways. Someone didn't actually think they had herpes and it turned out to be herpes. Do that. When it comes to blood tests, so for those who don't have symptoms right now, or the symptoms are fully healed, or they also want to do a blood test, they're mediocre at best. There's issues with testing too early until your body doesn't have antibodies built up, or there's like fluctuating index values where I've seen people who genuinely have herpes have like a high index value and they test again in a month or so and it's actually in like the negatives, but yet they had that previous number. A little bit about index values is any number that's below 1, so those 0.9, 0.8, blah, 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 it's likely negative. Anything between 1.1 and 3.5, which is this false positive range, 57% of those are false positives. If it falls closer to the 1.1, it's more likely, but there are people as well who actually have herpes who do fall within this number. It's a giant mess. Anything above 3.5 is likely a positive. If you have that, it doesn't matter if it's like your first test or your 7th test, like you have herpes. Now, if you're someone who suspects they have herpes, best advice is 6 to 12 weeks post-exposure. You can go earlier, but it's probably not going to give you the best answer. I know you don't want to wait too long, but this is going to give you the best understanding of your actual status. Now, for those who are still confused, unfortunately, you can do a Western blot blood test. It's probably going to cost you a lot of money. It's only offered at the University of Washington. You can try to talk to your doctor and get a connection with that, or you can talk to Terry Warren, and it's about 95% accurate, but good luck. And unfortunately, when I said before about the index values fluctuating throughout your life, the only real way to know if you're truly positive is you have a positive swab test, or at some point you have an index value that's above 3.5. Don't shoot the messenger. I have herpes. My life already sucks enough. Let's get on to step number 2. Your first week. Now, if you're actually symptomatic, you're probably going to get some antivirals, acyclovir, valacyclovir, or famciclovir. Please take them as prescribed. Now, you're probably going to run out of medicine before your outbreak is fully gone, but that's okay. It's going to heal. So if it's painful, use a warm Epsom salt bath 1 to 3 times daily. This is what I did. It's going to help keep the outbreak fresh and clean and dry, and it's going to help with some of the itchiness as well. Now, as it heals, it's probably going to get quite itchy. This was actually worse for me than the pain. So what I did was I used an ice pack, 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off, stuff like that. It actually really helped cut down the amount of itchiness and helped me get through my first outbreak. Next thing is please don't go on Reddit unless you're in a happy forum. All I saw on Reddit was, my life is over, your life is going to be over too, or this has ruined my life, or blah, 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 pity party, no one's going to take responsibility for getting their life back on track. All I saw that was positive was a herpes ask me anything, and I read that whole thing. But please, misery loves company. Don't doom scroll and don't feed into the narrative that your life is over just because you have herpes. It's not. That's why you're watching this video. Next, everything you feel is normal and it is valid. My life was over, sad, depressed, confused, overwhelmed, shame, anger, resentment, frustration, all the things that you felt, I felt. And if you're watching this right now and feel those things, they are not going to last. The way that you think and feel right now is not the way that you're going to think and feel in a couple weeks. And when your mind gets to a place where it's more clear, then you can actually rationally and logically and less emotionally look at your diagnosis and realize that it's not going to be over. Your life has only just begun. Next step is you will not experience the kind of discomfort that you're going to be having right now in the future. So I've had a lot of outbreaks. The first was an 8 out of 10. Any of the recurring ones were like a 1 or a 2 out of 10. Now, if you're a woman or you're a guy or whatever you want to be, you might have a little bit of pain in the recurring outbreaks, but they're not going to be like the first outbreak. Okay, so it's not going to be bad. You're not going to suffer. Step 3, post-outbreak. When your outbreak is fully healed, you might still have some of this mental confusion. Try to resume your normal habits. Going to the gym, socializing, playing League of Legends, whatever it is that you do to feel like you, do that, okay? Because you are still you. You just happen to have herpes now, like 70 to 80% of the world. Next thing, if you like to write, if you know how to write, I don't judge, journal everything you feel. So get your journal out, get your iPhone out, get your quill and your ink out, and journal everything you feel. I don't like journaling. That's for sissies. I don't care. Journal. Get a piece of paper. All the things you feel. My life is over. I'm going to be alone forever. Blah, 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 blah. And realize that none of these things are actually true. Or write, I don't know. Just do it. Nextly, look for online advocates. My recommendations: Sue's Bubs, love her. Yoni Nutritionist, love her. Herpes Goddess, love her. Life with Herpes and Laureen HD. That's who I watched when I got diagnosed. So shout out to them. And then Something Positive for Positive People is a podcast by Courtney Brame, who's another male advocate. It's good stuff. You can also join a support community. I'll have a link to mine down below, or a Facebook group, but be careful as well. Just like the Reddit stuff, sometimes they can be a little bit doomy. My life is over, your life is over. Only stay in a support group if it's supportive, and don't get trapped in the spiral of my life is over. Nextly, if you have supportive friends or family that you know aren't going to think you're a disgusting, dirty slut, reach out to them. You don't want to be alone for any of this. So step 4 is going to be getting educated. So establish reliable sources: CDC, WHO, maybe me mostly, Rich Mancuso, and Terry Warren. Keep an open mind about these things, because sometimes I'll get information and then it'll contradict what I learn next week. And then, I don't know, there's a lot of wishy-washy information, and doctors are not really concerned with giving you proper information. Google says this, and ChatGPT says this, and your mom says that, and everyone's confused. Things to Google: HSV prevalence, transmission, Q&As, shedding, all of these different informations that are helpful to learn, not only for informing future partners, but also for like your own understanding. Because if you understand that like most of the planet has HSV, you might feel less alone. Recommendation for you is the podcast This Podcast Will Kill You. There is a great episode on herpes. It's facts, and it's also very digestible. Get it? Herpes 101 by Rich Mancuso is his own podcast. I trust him for information. Do it. And then anything with Terry Warren, with a grain of salt. You can just Google like Terry Warren podcast and listen to her, because she's great. With this being said, apply the knowledge to your confidence and to your understanding. Because if you understand prevalency, you understand transmission, and you understand like how herpes works, you can feel more comfortable, because the uncertainty you have at the beginning of your diagnosis can be like, replace your fears with facts. Help me a lot. Step 5, don't let yourself go. You see this doomer here? That was me. See this me now? Good. Go to the gym, period. I don't care if you're a woman, a man, a dog, a cat, whatever you want to be, go to the gym, okay? Stay fit in general, because you're going to die if you're not healthy. Not only that, it's going to help with your stress, it's going to help with your confidence, it's going to help with your self-esteem, it's going to help you in general, okay? Reject fat phobia, go to the gym. Next, self-care. Get your hair cut, get your lashes done, get your nails done, go back to the gym. First step, get a new outfit, do things to make yourself feel better about your actual self. Now, I know you may feel like there's no point anymore because now I have herpes, my life is over. No. Take care of yourself. Have a pity party for a couple weeks, and then realize that you don't have control over what happened to you, but you have control over your actions and your behaviors and your thoughts going forward. Make the best of it. Live your best life. Outdo your previous self, because why can't you? And if you need some extra help, reach out to me. We'll get you living your best life. Okay, and remember this: if no one would date you pre-diagnosis, herpes won't matter now. So whether you were an absolute loser before you got herpes, and you're a loser now with herpes, or you weren't a loser and then you got herpes and now you let yourself go, people may not want to date you now. So become your best, forget the rest. Life is short and so am I. It's going to be okay. Your emotional state and your thinking is temporary. Don't spiral downwards. Try to surround yourself with positivity so that you're not just like becoming doomer. That's all. Step 6 is critically think about the stigma. I know that going through school, they teach you what to think and how to think, and no one can think for themselves, and it's all false news and Kardashians. No, you got to engage your brain and do some thinking. So a great article is How Herpes Became the Sexual Boogeyman. Google it. It's from Slate magazine. I highly recommend it. It's going to where the stigma came from, what it's actually about, and why it makes no sense. Realize this: STDs and STIs will always be taboo because sex is taboo. If you have sex, you'll be judged. If you have sex and get herpes, you'll be judged. If you go to court, you'll be judged. You're just going to be judged for everything. But guess what? You don't have to judge yourself. Realize that humans are hypocrites who all pursue sex and are a product of this dirty act, but then shame each other because we're bored and we have nothing else to do with our time other than be like, Sally down the street has herpes and I have no life. I know. Get a life. Stop gossiping. Next, cold sores are not a form of herpes. It's literally herpes because people will call type 1 down there herpes. And if you refuse to call type 1 up here herpes, if down there is herpes, then you're an idiot. I'm going to say it to your face because the only reason why you would reject medically accurate information out of fear of a label is because you're scared. I just got cold sores growing up. I can't have herpes. You do. That's all. One of the key facts that helped me as well was that 70 to 80% of the world has HSV1 or HSV2. Both can cause genital infections. I'm just aware I have it, and I'm just going to disclose, and I'm just going to be open and honest. And if people want to go their separate ways, that's fine. Fear comes from brainwashing and lack of info. Thinking is hard. So a lot of people that don't have herpes have no reason to realize the truth about it or question their own beliefs or actually get knowledgeable. And the people who do get diagnosed and then do information and do research and reverse their beliefs have been shamed to the point where they don't ever think about anything and they don't ever publicly say anything. And then I come out and I'm like, this makes no sense. And then everyone's, you look at the herpes boy, and I say, nice cold sore, bro. We're the same. Step 7, redevelop your self-image and your mindset. So if you have time, read a book, Psycho-Cybernetics. It's going to teach you all about your self-image, all about your mind, and all about how to actually get to you being the person you want to be. Next, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It's an introduction to Stoic philosophy. It is the operating system that I use to live my life. It's going to improve your life dramatically if you actually apply the principles, but if you read the book today, in 7 years, you'll use it. Okay, but you actually have to use the principles and practice and realize that it's going to be okay. Thirdly, continue journaling. Okay, go back to the preview. I haven't journaled yet. Get a paper, get your phone out. Journaling is going to be helpful for you. Okay, don't force yourself, but if you want to, do it. Nextly, you are in control of how you view yourself. Don't self-sabotage. I know it sounds simple from like my outside perspective to you, but you literally can choose how you want to view yourself. And if you want to view yourself as a pity party, disgusting, dirty slut who's going to be alone forever, you can. But if you do that for the rest of your life, you're going to die with that mindset. But if you think like, I have herpes, I'm not going to beat myself up, I probably shouldn't, then you're not going to self-sabotage. Nextly, do these 2 exercises I'm going to show you on the next slide. Now, usually I charge people for this, but you're going to get this for free, so actually do it. False beliefs. So get your journal out, put all the beliefs that you have about yourself. I'm contagious, I'm dirty, I'm the only risk, I'm going to be alone forever. And then the next column, put what is the truth. So yes, I'm contagious, but everybody with HSV is contagious, so most of us are contagious, and COVID is contagious, a cold is contagious. Everything is basically contagious. What's the difference now? I am dirty. No, I took a shower this morning. I used L'Oreal Kids watermelon flavor. I smell good. I'm not dirty. I am the only risk. No, most people with herpes are a risk to people without herpes. Okay, realize that a lot of us just internalize these beliefs. Whether or not they're actually true, we never do much thinking about. Close TikTok, close the Kardashians, get your paper out, get your journal out, get your iPhone app out, and actually do this. The second one is going to be a self-worth exercise. Put down all the good qualities you have about yourself. I sometimes go to the gym and look decent. I have decent skin. I think that I'm sometimes funny. I can make a really good fettuccine Alfredo. I believe I'm a loyal partner. Random shit like that. Whatever you have. And then the next column, put your HSV status. HSV1, HSV2, HSV46. Whatever you got, put it down there. You'll notice that the HSV has one thing in it, and your good qualities is a bunch of things that you actually can remind yourself of when you're having a bad day. Now, for those of you who have HSV status here, and then nothing in your good qualities, that means that's probably why you're going to have a hard time dating. Okay, because if the only thing you have going for you is your HSP status, it's probably not going to make you a worthwhile person to date. People are going to reject you. Now, the upside is you can actually put whatever you want to improve in the good quality. So maybe you want to be fitter, funnier, more confident, a better hairstyle, connect your beard, whatever it is that you want to put in there as a plan to work towards, do that. But do these exercises, print them out, do them. Step 8 is get comfortable. I subconsciously made a bunch of TikTok videos every single day going, I have genital herpes. Did this help me at all? Maybe it actually did, but I was pretty okay with the diagnosis before I was making the videos. But look in the mirror and get comfortable admitting that you have herpes. For some reason, my GIF is not working up here with Bojack. I'm pissed about that. Apparently, this program doesn't work, but that's okay. Realize that herpes does not define you. Nobody can use it against you if you don't use it against yourself. Okay, if I go up to you and I say you have green hair and you are bald, you're going to laugh in my face. If I wanted to insult you by saying you have green hair and you're actually bald, you're going to look at me and say, that makes no sense. If you do not shame yourself for herpes or look at yourself badly or you don't define yourself by it, then nobody can use it against you. No one can use herpes against me because I say it online every day and I have a herpes advocate, herpes coach. What is someone going to say to me? You have herpes? Yeah, join the party, bro. Everyone on the internet knows I have herpes. You don't have to be public like that, but I'm just saying, nothing bad happens. A good way to look at this also is like you have cold sores through sex. So cold sores seem to be normal. Everyone, I just getting a cold sore. Oh my God, yeah, I was sick last week and now I got a cold sore. And then people have sex. There's a strip club, there's pornography websites. Your mom and dad had sex and now you're born. Seems normal to me. But if you somehow get cold sores through sex, it doesn't make any sense. No. Think about all of these things that don't make sense and use these like contradictions to make you realize that none of us really have any idea why we're shaming herpes as much as we are. And the last thing is if herpes isn't a negative reflection of you, it becomes your zodiac sign. So what I mean by this is like I'm an Aquarius and I can tell people I'm an Aquarius because I'm not afraid that they're going to be like, ew, an Aquarius. To be honest though, a girl might actually be like, I don't date Aquariuses, but herpes is cool. So if you get to a point where you're as comfortable talking about your herpes status as you are about your zodiac sign, then you can talk about it comfortably when it comes to disclosure, and you no longer feel like it has any power over you. Because I don't wake up every day and say, oh, shucks, I'm an Aquarius and my life sucks. Next slide. Making disclosure effortless. This guy's in pretty interesting. He's gonna get you confident. Determine your personality. For me, I'm sarcastic, I'm nonchalant, and I've used that to actually disclose. If you're watching this video, this is like pretty authentic for who I am. And this is how I've been like able to disclose. So there was a girl, she messaged me like, oh, I thought you were cute. I was gonna hit it and quit it. And I said, I better disclose my genital herpes then within 10 minutes of the conversation. And she said, genital herpes, ugh, it's AIDS or nothing, bro, come on. So I've literally disclosed by making it into a joke and then reinforcing it wasn't a joke, because for me, if you don't want to date me, okay. I'm not going to feel sadder if it's because of herpes or because of any other reason. Nextly, timing is less important than bringing it up casually. People always ask like, when do I disclose? How do I disclose? Should I do a first date, second date, third date, in bed? It's about your comfort level of talking about it. It's about your ability to bring it up, and it's less about the perfect time. If you want to do it on first date, you can. Second date, you can. But as for me, like whenever I've been able to talk about it organically or something, has had a lot more success than like building up to it and planning today's the day, because it shouldn't be this thing that you really build up to. And if it has to be like built up or so to this like major presentation, you're probably still viewing it in this huge way. Nextly is if it can't be used against you and you feel normal, you can find ways to get it out in the open. So maybe you're just casually talking about herpes or cold sores or acne or sexual health, and whatever their reaction is out of your control. Once it's out loud, you don't have power to like make the decision. And realize that everybody won't date you now that it's out in the open, but it's not a bad thing. People who like you for you want to date you. People who want to learn about herpes will date you. People who Or, ew, no, I would never date somebody with herpes. That's gross. But I got a cold sore last week. No, not Jim Johnny from the hardware store. We ain't dating him, okay? And lastly, DM me YouTube on Instagram for a free guide on disclosure, and I'll set you up with a bunch of different examples, all right? Nextly, step 10, dating sucks, like it always has, but it's always a numbers game. So, firstly, go date. Go on Tinder, go on Bumble, go on Positive Singles, go to the bar. Trying to organize a date is harder than actually disclosing. Now, you can talk with someone and they may never meet you. Talk with someone, they turn out to be a serial killer, never meet them. Talk to someone, make plans, they ghost you, never meet them. Actually getting to meet someone is harder than actually having to disclose. Nextly, I don't suggest disclosing on first dates unless you're super comfortable or unless you want to, because you might be incompatible on the first date. You show up, you meet me, my sarcasm goes all over your head. It's okay. Most things go over my head. I'm 5'5", but it doesn't matter. Let's get back on track with the herply derplies. You might not work out on the first date. And in that case, there's no reason to have to let them know you have herpes if you're never seeing them again. Nextly, don't let words or rejection hurt you long term. So if you meet up with someone, it's your first date, first time meeting after you got herpes, and you disclose and they're like, no, ew, get away from me. This is a 50-50 chance of rejection or acceptance. It's not going to be the norm in the future. Now, you might have 5 rejections and then you meet someone, or you might have 1 rejection and then you meet the next person. But just know that each individual disclosure has its own 50% chance of having success. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, next, lack of education and fear, they're an easy out, are all reason for incompatibility. I don't even know what that one's about. Skip it. The right persons will want to learn more about you and herpes. And lastly, you're not the only person with herpes. Cold sore is herpes. Herpes down there is herpes. Some people know and don't disclose. Some people don't know and don't disclose. Some people don't even know you're supposed to disclose. Disclosure is still key. It's going to bring people together. It's going to prevent us from putting someone else in the position that we were in. And at the end of the day, yes, it sucks that we have herpes and we have to disclose and we have to be shamed. But now what? Are we going to be alone forever? That's up to us. Become your best, forget the rest, live your best life, become confident, get rid of the shame, overcome the mental side, get back out there, outdo people without herpes so they choose you over someone else, or you spiral out of control for the rest of your life and you realize that any time put into negative energy could be spent in a positive energy because you have no choice. And lastly, herpes diagnosis is a temporary shock. Okay, the way that you feel now is not going to last. It's going to get better. Maybe it's going to take you 1 month or 2 months or 6 years or 10 years. But if you never let yourself quit overcoming this, eventually you're going to be okay. It's only going to get better if you want it to. So if you want to join the pity party, you can. But the pity party actually sucks. I went there one time and it was awful. Okay? Leave the pity party, join the proud party. It does not define you, and don't self-sabotage yourself long term. Okay? Last few points. Not everyone is an idiot. Some people know how common herpes is. Some people know the risks and are aware of that. Some people don't care, and some people like you. And you don't have to date the idiots. Okay? So there's an upside. So use herpes as a filter to get rid of the people who are idiots or unintelligent or judgmental or things like that. You don't have to date someone who's not going to be supportive. And if you have things going for you, your partner is going to be very supportive of you. If you have anything going for you, use your diagnosis as a way to self-improve. So instead of pity partying, spiraling out of control, use it as a catalyst for positive improvement. Go to the gym, get more money, get a haircut, just stuff that's going to make you a better person than you were pre-diagnosis, because why not? And lastly, in a year's time, you'll look back at this and you'll think, what was I so worried about? Because right now, herpes is like the least concerning, the least prominent, the thing that I think about the least when it comes to the impact on my mental health. Yes, I talk about it every day, but I don't think about it badly every day. And if you need extra help after watching this video, for a select few who are genuinely serious about overcoming their diagnosis, so not the pity party people, I'm going to leave a link down below to a free training that's also going to get you to work with me one-on-one if we're a good fit. Okay, if you're just like, I'd like some help, but I'm not ready. If you're ready and you want to fast track your way to overcome your diagnosis, hit me up. Let's do it. And if you're looking for a private support group as well, the second link is going to be my private support group. Watch the short video on the actual link, the testimonials. Love you, miss you, hope you're doing well. See you next time.